Alright, this is the 7th grade screencast for 6.3D. This is one of the last sections out of this chapter we're going to do on simple interest, and your book Fancy calls it financial literacy. But it's simple interest. And we do simple interest even though it's not used quite as much anymore in everyday life, but it's just kind of gives you an idea of how interest works, so that when we go to do compound interest in 8th grade, you have a little bit of a background in it. So our I can statement is I can solve money problems involving simple interest. So we're still using percents because we're in the percent chapter. So just a little bit of vocab. The first one is interest. It's the amount of money that's paid or earned for the use of money. So interest is extra money, if you think of it that way. So it's extra money that if you have a savings account that gets added to your account, the bank will give you money. They'll put it in your account for you. Or if it's a loan that you have, or say a credit card, it's extra money that you have to pay back. So it's extra money that gets added on depending on the situation. Simple interest is a type of interest that is only figured on the initial amount, the initial principal of a savings account or loan. So if you borrowed $5, your interest is only calculated on that $5. Your principal is the original amount that you borrowed or that you invested. So invested here is like if you put money in the bank. And then the money borrowed, if you borrowed money, say, for a college loan or for a car, it's the original amount that you borrowed. So our formula for simple interest is I equals PRT. And usually you always see this as capital I, because a small I in math means something else. So when we're using all these different letters, there's certain reasons why we have capital letters and lowercase letters. So in this case, the capital I is for interest. The P is for the principal. Remember, that's your starting amount. The R is your rate. Oh, that got all messy. It's your rate. And that's in decimal form, but that's why it's in this chapter, because that's where your percent goes, but you have to change your percent to a decimal. And T, lowercase t, is always time. And for our problems, we want that to be in units of years. And we'll talk about that when there's a couple problems that come up that use months and how to deal with that, because we want to have the unit of years, because our rate will be in a rate per year, percent per year. All right, so let's do an example. The first one says, find the simple interest for $500 invested in a savings account at 3.25% for 3 years. So the important things to us are it's $500 invested, so that's our P. The rate is the 3.25%. The 3 years, that's our time. And we're finding the interest. So that's telling us, and it's simple interest, so that means we're using I equals PRT. So this one's really nice. You just kind of plug in the things that you know, solve for what you don't know. We don't know the interest, the I, so we take 500 times the 3.25%, but we got to change it to a decimal. So remember, you got to move the decimal back 2 places. So we end up with 0.0325, that's what we're going to put in our calculator, times 3. So then you just put that in your calculator. Let me get out mine. And you take 500 times 0.0325 times 3 equals, and make sure it looks like money, so use the dollar sign, and you'll get $48.75. So if you put this $500 in a savings account, after 3 years, the bank will give you an additional $48.75 on top of that $500. That's what interest is saying in this case. Alright, this one's similar problem, slightly different. With the time, and it's set up a little bit differently. You're given the principal is $580, rate is 2%, time is 6 months. So we're still going to use I equals PRT. We're finding the simple interest. Principal is $580. The rate, don't forget to change that to a decimal, so this will be 0.02 because we go back 1, 2, and then fill in with 0, so 0.02 times 6 months, but we really want it in years. So you take the 6 months, and then you figure out, well, how many months are there in a year, and there's 12 months. And so you have 6 over 12, 6 over 12 reduces to 1/2. This is what we're going to put in for our time, 1/2. So if you think of it, I'm going to rewrite it here, because when you go to put it in your calculator, what you're really doing, if you think of these as being over 1, what you're doing is taking 580 times 0.02. In your calculator, you don't have to do times 1, but we'll write it here. Divided by 1 times 1 times 2. This is all denominators on the bottom. Probably writing more than I need to. But just so you can kind of see what we're doing in your calculator, these are the keystrokes you want to do. Just take 580 times 0.02 divide by 2. Okay, so if you don't like it, the division written like that, if you think of it, let me write in a different color for the keystrokes. So you'd put in 580 times 0.02 divided by 2, and then hit equals or enter depending on your calculator. Okay, so some people get some people get all worked up about the dividing part of it, and don't let it confuse you. Okay, because remember, it's in the denominator. If you're multiplying by 1/2, that's the same thing as dividing by 2. Okay, and we actually got to figure that out. So if I take in my calculator 580 times 0.02 divided by 2 equals, remember to make it look like money, don't put 5.8, put $5.80. So that means after 6 months you will have earned $5.80. Oh my goodness, and that's the last one. Your homework is from page 361, numbers 1 through 17. And follow any directions that you were given on Google Classroom. And do your best. Show your work.